What if I forget my speech? What if I mess up? What if nobody likes it? Sorry, was I talking out loud? None of us is a stranger to nerves, especially before something important. Maybe you felt this way before a job interview or a first date. For me, it happens before I'm in front of a crowd. Right before I present something big or small, I get this voice in my head that overpowers any other thought. It asks questions I never would have thought about while in the process of preparing. These are all examples of low self-esteem, which is a branch of confidence. Confidence, that's the big idea. A common misconception about confident people is that they never have any doubt. They can stand up in front of a crowded room full of people and be sure of themselves and their abilities. Confident people still have doubt. They don't give it any power. They don't let it control or take over their lives. Instead, they let it motivate them to try harder. Struggling with confidence is a unique experience. For a long time, I thought it would come once I stopped letting other people's opinions affect my everyday life. I struggled to be confident in my work, interests, and self-image. Throughout high school, presentations were always scary to me. I loved the process of putting all my thoughts and hard work into it. I would look back and be very proud of what I accomplished. I was excited about it. Right before I would present, the doubts would start kicking in. I'd instantly start thinking about what my friends or classmates would say about my hard work. It's not that it was wrong, that I was incorrect, or was missing something. It's that I let that doubt take over my excitement. Are my ideas weird? Are my classmates going to judge me? What do I do with my hands? Am I talking too loudly? As I got older, I realized I could care and still show up. The voice in my head is not just uncomfortable or inconvenient. It actually has consequences. Low self-esteem is linked to mental health. It can cause anxiety, depression, and trouble paying attention. Low self-esteem doesn't just affect how we feel, but how we focus, perform, and interpret feedback. I still remember the first time I went on stage my freshman year. I was extremely nervous and I wouldn't let go of the mic. My hands were sweating and shaking, and the worst mistake was forgetting the words. It felt like the world was going to end. My mind went blank, and the only thing I can hear were the voices in my head telling me that I shouldn't have even tried. But what I learned later in my public speaking class changed things for me. I learned that the audience doesn't know when you mess up. They don't have your script memorized, and most of the time, they're rooting for you. I learned that confidence isn't about messing up, but recovering when you do. In public speaking, my teacher taught me to pause, breathe, and keep going. Fake it till you make it. At first, that sounded ridiculous. Fake it? That's dishonest. But it wasn't about pretending to be someone else. It was about stepping into the version of myself I wanted to become before I fully realized I was her. For so long, I was trapped in my own head. I was so concerned about what my friends and family would say when I stepped off stage that I couldn't focus. So I did something interesting. I started shifting my focus outward instead of inward. Instead of asking, how do I look? I started asking, what message do I want to share? I learned in public speaking that nerves don't mean you're incapable. They mean you care. That shaking hands doesn't mean you're weak. They mean you're brave. That your voice deserves to take up space, even if it trembles a little at first. This lesson doesn't just apply to a stage. At one point, I became obsessed with trying to fix my appearance. I thought if I had the same body, hair, or characteristics as the prettier girls, other people would like me. I adjusted myself into someone more acceptable. I'm naturally outgoing, but when I didn't look or act like the other girls, I shrank. I became quieter, smaller, and safer. I was afraid to show people the real me because I thought they wouldn't like the true version. So I did something interesting. I didn't pretend to be someone else. I practiced being brave. I acted confident before I felt confident, and slowly the feeling caught up with the action. The people we assume were just born confident did the exact same thing. They practiced before they believed, showed up before they felt ready. They heard that voice, and they kept going. Raise your hand if any of you have seen the movies The Grinch or The Truman Show. Then you're familiar with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, the man who can twist his face into a human cartoon. The man who built his whole career off being outrageous, loud, and fearless. An actor, comedian, artist, producer, one of the most recognizable stars of the 90s and early 2000s. When we picture him, we picture confidence. We picture someone who has zero fear or embarrassment. Someone who can stand in front of millions of people and fully commit to the joke. But here's what people don't know. Jim Carrey has opened up about struggling deeply with self-doubt. He talked about growing up with dyslexia and battling immense self-criticism and feeling for just so long like he wasn't enough. Let that sink in. The man who made the whole world laugh was fighting his own inner critic. He didn't wake up confident. He didn't naturally believe in himself. For years, he felt the need to prove himself. But that need to prove himself became fuel for him. It pushed his work ethic and drove him to perfect his craft. It made him practice until the movements, the voices, and the timing were undeniable. But later in life, he realized something. Confidence doesn't come from proving. It comes from accepting. He said, I just want you to relax. That's my job. Relax and dream up a good life. Relax. That's not usually what we associate confidence with, is it? When we think of confidence, we think confidence is loud, bold, and unshakable, but maybe real confidence is quieter than that. Maybe real confidence is telling yourself, you're allowed to be here, you deserve it, you can relax. So the next time that voice shows up, I want you to pause, breathe, and keep going. Your hands might still shake, your voice might still tremble, and your heart might still race. But you show up, you speak, you try. Don't let that doubt get the final word. Don't give the voice the mic. Thank you.